What is the best way to break into tech sales? And more importantly, what's the way to break into tech sales with the lowest amount of resistance? And even more important than that, how can you use your current experience that you already have to be an ideal fit at your next company? Don't worry guys, we're gonna address all these questions right now. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Danilo Capric here, AKA the best dressed man in tech sales. Don't forget it. And in today's video, what we're gonna talk about is what is the easiest way for folks to break into tech sales. And I really mean this, guys. We're gonna talk about a very tactical, actionable strategy that you can use right after watching this video to start identifying target companies where you will be an ideal fit based on your existing experience. So without further ado, let's get into it so you can learn the right way to break into tech sales. All right guys, so very simple. The method that I like to use for the easiest, lowest resistance way to get into tech using your existing experience is called the industry pivot, okay? I've made a video on this before, but I wanna re-emphasize the point and give you some more examples. The industry pivot is less about breaking into tech, and it's really using your current experience to make more of a pivot into tech sales. So the way this works, guys, is I'm gonna tell you a real story. So 2 days ago, I was on the phone with someone who is a veteran, okay? Military veteran, meaning that they were in the Army or Navy, I think it was the Navy. And they were asking about tech sales, how to get in. And I said, have you looked at public sector and defense startups? And they had no idea about that. And that's the thing, guys, no matter what you do right now, if you're in the military, if you work at McDonald's, if you work at a shoe store like I did, there is a company out there, a tech company, that sells to the companies you already work for. And that would be my first recommendation for you to go and seek out, is to find those companies, because you can position yourself as an ideal candidate with your existing experience. For example, let's go back to the veteran. I told him, hey, if you just Google right now, defense/public sector military startups, I literally found a list of companies that sell to that industry. And if you're a veteran, right, you can apply for these types of positions and you can say, hey, look, I think I'm a great fit for this company because I've been in the military. I know how they operate. I know the language that they speak, right? Because every industry has their own language. And more importantly, he knows the operational challenges that the people actually with the boots on the ground face, okay? So because he has all this insider knowledge about who they're selling to, he's naturally a great fit, right? So that's my recommendation to everybody, to use the industry pivot, to use your existing experience to break in with the lowest amount of resistance. Now, let's give you some more examples so you can see how else we can pivot into tech. All right, let's say I was an insurance agent, right? And I wanted to break into tech sales. Believe it or not, guys, you might not know this, but there is a field, a subsector in tech called insurtech. Okay, these are newer insurance companies that have a data-driven approach or a technology-driven approach to sell their product. So if you've been selling insurance for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you can be an ideal fit at these types of companies. Why? Because you know the language of insurance, you know the special terms, you've already sold it before, and again, you know the common challenges that people face that don't have insurance, right? So again, using all that experience, you can interview and position yourself as a very good candidate because you already know the industry and you know who they're selling to, all right? But let's keep going with some other examples. Let's say we were a construction worker, right? And we wanted to break into tech sales. Again, we would look for and Google search companies that sell technology to construction companies. Or I would just start searching construction tech companies or companies that sell tech to construction workers, whatever it is, right? And I guarantee you, because I've looked at this before, you will find a list of companies on the internet that sell to that field. And again, that's your starting point. So what I'd recommend is, after you identify the companies that sell to the field that you're already in, here's exactly what you should do. So step one is, after you've identified a list of companies that sell to the field that you're in today, what you need to do is go on LinkedIn, find those companies and see the actual employees who work there today, okay? So if you go on LinkedIn, there's a people tab, you can click that, and you wanna find the people who have the role that you want to apply for, okay? So let's say you wanna be a BDR, SDR, or AE, you would literally find this company on LinkedIn, click on the people tab, and find at least 10 people who already have that title, okay? Next, you're going to message these people on LinkedIn or send them a connection request, and you're gonna have a brief message that says, hey, see you've been working at this company for a year, however long they've been working there. Would you have 5 minutes or 10 minutes so I can ask you a couple questions about what it's like to work there? And if you do this to 10 people, one of them is going to say yes. One of them is going to say yes because they are financially incentivized to bring in referrals. Okay, if you didn't know this, tech companies actually pay their employees $1,000 to $3,000 to bring in referrals. So these people would be crazy to say no to you, all right? So it's just a matter of time and asking until somebody says yes. And once you get them on the phone, ask them any questions you want, but at the very end, here's what you want to ask. You want to ask them, hey, based on our conversation today, how would you feel about referring me to the company? Or would you be open to putting me in as a referral? And that is going to be your easy way to skip the line, guys. You don't have to worry about just blindly applying anymore. You want to get in as a referral because that's going to be the way that you skip all the other applicants and you get to the very front and increase the likelihood of getting that first interview, okay? So that's really the process, guys. After you identify the companies that sell to the industry you're in, go on LinkedIn, find the people with the jobs that you want to apply for, message them, get on the phone and ask them, would you be comfortable putting me in as a referral? Let's say you're in an industry where you feel like there's no possible pivot available for you. I really want to challenge you to think the opposite because there's no such thing. Let's say you're a nurse or you work in the healthcare field, right? Do you know how many healthcare startups there are, guys? So many healthcare startups that want people who are familiar with the healthcare system, people who are familiar with the challenges that a hospital has, right? These are valuable experiences that you have that can easily allow you to pivot into tech sales. What else? Let's say, like me, if you worked at retail, right? If you work at the mall, let's say you work at a men's clothing store, a women's clothing store, whatever it is, you work at Saks Fifth, whatever. If you work in retail, you just Google companies that sell technology or software to retailers. And boom, you can find a list. And then from there, you follow the formula. Find them on LinkedIn, message the people with the job titles you want, ask them for time, and ask them for a referral. But here's the trick, guys. There's literally endless possibilities here. So no matter what industry you're in, even if it's marine biology, right? Let's say you're a marine biologist and for some reason you want to get into tech sales, I guarantee you can find a company that sells technology to marine research centers, to marine biologists, to whoever. So again, guys, the emphasizing point I want to reiterate here is no matter what field you're in, all you have to do is go into Google and say companies that sell software or technology to whatever industry you're in, okay? That's the main takeaway. Now, assuming that you do all these things and you're now having an interview, what you wanna do is have a very clear answer as to why you're a good fit. And you wanna emphasize the following. Number one, you have industry experience, okay? This is a huge plus and it's going to immediately differentiate you from majority of candidates, okay? That's the first thing, industry experience. With that, you can kind of bullet point off into the language of the industry, okay? Specific jargon that is unique to this industry, you know it already. Number two, the pain points and challenges. You know what these organizations go through because you used to work there, right? If you were a nurse that works at a hospital and you're interviewing at a company that sells technology to hospitals, you can say, yeah, I know exactly what challenges the hospitals are facing. I know the things my manager was looking for. I know the things I was looking for. And so naturally you can say, yeah, I know all the challenges and pain points they have. I would be able to identify those, relate to them, and sell to them, okay? So language, you know the language, the challenges and pain points, you know that, but also you know who to contact. You know the roles, you know the people, you know the way the organization functions. So you want to use all these points in your interview to emphasize the point that you have the industry expertise and you're a great fit. So there you have it, guys. This is, in my opinion, the easiest way to break into tech sales. Using this approach, you can actually bypass the need to enter one of these boot camps. And don't get me wrong, I think the boot camps are great. If anything, that's just going to make you an even better applicant, a more desirable applicant. But again, if you are strapped with cash and you don't have a lot of resources and maybe you can't afford the boot camps, use your existing industry experience to pivot into tech instead of breaking in. Right? We want to use the pivot here because again, it's the lowest resistance method and it uses or allows us to use our current experience to break into this field. All right. So that's really the whole video, guys. Like that's what I wanted to break down for you guys today. And again, if you use this method, you will find that you're able to differentiate yourself. You're able to tell a compelling story and you're able to position yourself as a really good fit for these companies. So there you have it, guys. That is exactly how we use the industry pivot method to break into tech. Now, if you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, please hit the subscribe button below. Also, if you're not doing so already, follow me on LinkedIn, send me a DM. Everybody gets a response, I promise. And then last but not least, if you're already in tech sales or if you're looking for more ways to break into tech sales, go ahead and join the B2B Syndicate. See what we got cooking up over there. All right. With that, guys, hope you have an amazing day, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Take it easy now.